Make the Shift is a really fun program for you to get the support to go a little bit deeper in your offering, whether it's a healing offering or you're an artist, and create something that you really care about and have the support to see it through from the beginning to the and through the middle and to the end. There's so many ideas out there, these days around building a business and social media. And, my team and I have just worked very hard over these years to really sort through a lot of that and be able to offer you something that will be both training but also coaching around putting your specific unique offering not just out into the world but really getting it to stick and getting it to like sink you deeper into your own process of what it is that you're here to do and be. So make the shift is for anybody who's really craving like some sort of acceleration and growth, either in their relationship to money and business or in their relationships to sex and love. I know from my own experience that these things we oftentimes assume we should know how to do them, but it's like meditation. Everybody assumes they should know how to meditate for some reason, but um, it's not like that. There's just skills to learn. There's strategies. There's feedback. There's someone else that can hold us and you in a moment when you can't, have the faith to see something through and to really provide that. And I think it's for anybody who's really craving that, who's craving a more authentic relationship to their business, to their work, to being an entrepreneur, to being their own boss, to building a team, to learning how to do that and learning how to be okay with, making mistakes along the way and that it's really this program is for people that are wanting to open their receptive, like that receptive aspect of their being. So it's not just coming from this place of like doing and lists and all of that, although, that structure will be there. It's also coming from this allowing the flow to happen. Like in somatic work, we always talk about moving from fixity to flow, right? And so this is like a way of doing that in your business as a healer, as an artist, as, a somatic therapist, as somebody who's just really wanting to create a different impact in the world and help yourself go deeper in and also support others in learning the language of the body and the language of even our relationship to money when it can be connected to something that is very earth based, that's connected to your um, desires to serve beyond, what's in your little circle, your desires to serve in a greater way. So in the Make the Shift program, I'm so excited because this is something I feel like everything I've been doing literally in all these trainings all these years and just so many of my own trainings have really led me to this point to be able to offer this work. So one of the things I think they can expect is to have a lot more fun in building and in creating their work and their business. It can become very stressful, and I think a lot of people don't do it for really good reasons because it could just suck, And so when we could do it in a way where we're also really like we're receiving at the same time that we're working towards something and we're deepening our capacity to receive and we're also having fun along the way and we're realizing that we don't have to do things alone. I think that that's one of the main things that we can come together and support you with in terms of growing your own um, the business. I keep talking about Make the Shift as like, building a business by being yourself. Like that's like I literally could not have done it any other way. Like I've taken so many business courses and they've all helped me in little ways, but the finding your niche and all that kind of stuff, it's all good and it does help us in different moments, but I also really find that when we are just like super coming from that place of authenticity, that things do and will align. We don't have control over the time of it, but I know that we can really accelerate that process by focusing on it and by getting different strategies that we'll be offering We'll also be offering some training around grief and death work. So we'll be offering a death doula certification level one, also around sexuality and relationship. So we'll also be, focusing on that, and then the majority of the time, just having a place where we can meet every week over, a few months and really dig into what your questions are and how to keep supporting you in creating what is most authentic for you. So a lot of it is the accountability. Part of the content is coming from our own training, both coming from a nervous system and somatic, but also a spiritual soul approach to your business and to your relationships. On a really practical level, we'll be meeting once a week and you'll have 90 minutes to share your questions. I'll guide you through different exercises, somatic exercises, but also just internal exercises where you're connecting to source, you're connecting to your soul, and you're really being guided from that internal sense. And then we'll also have a body temple dance class every Friday that will help you to move your body. So to move with all the things that are arising for you and maybe getting in the way, and move into physically this experience of what it is you're creating. You'll also get time together with me. We'll do a 90-minute immersion with you to where you could really just, dig into something that you're wanting to loosen, and you're wanting to break free from in these different areas, as well as, support you on a personal level. And then every month we'll have a retreat weekend. So we'll spend half a day Saturday and half a day Sunday once a month diving into more of the materials. So more of the content that we'll be providing. Half of the content for this really will be coming from you, will be coming from what are you wanting and what gets uncovered. Like I said, this is for people who've done a lot of trainings, who've done like enough trainings. From my perspective, I'm always training. So, but I get what that means when people say that. So I also want this to all have this will have a lot of space for you and a lot of space for what's arising from within you. And yeah, it's we're planning it, and it's organized in a way where you're really going to walk away with something that you've created that feels super in alignment and super good with what you came here to do, and that will help take you to that next shift that your soul is really wanting to make. The main reason why I felt so called to, put these three very juicy topics together of sex, death, and money, um, is one, I just always love looking where no one else wants to look for some reason. It's just, a part of my true nature. And I know that anybody I work with and anybody that's going to be called to this program is also going to be like that. That there's something terrifying but equally satisfying about looking where other people are afraid to look. And I also see that the world right now really needs us, and us meaning people that have a more heart-centered and led perspective on life, to dive into these different topics and to dive into the inner child healing work that is just naturally required if we're going to keep growing and evolving and creating a world and even an economy that isn't just based on, what people have or what they don't, or a worth that's based on, what we have or what we don't, because essentially that inner sense of worth in any of these areas and unworthiness, right? It really arises for us to heal. And I think that that true sense of worth within is the catalyst for anything that we could do in this world that's going to create a positive change and have some sort of impact, which is, I think, part of what we came here to do in all different ways and very unique ways. And why in Make the Shift, we're offering such specific work around sex, death, and money, so each person can really dive into what their own unique experience of all of that really is, and just bring a massive amount of healing and light to it, so then we can keep that ripple effect going on. And I've seen it, and in all the work we've been doing all these years with Body Temple and with Power of Love, that it makes a big difference to be sensitive and to be to be known, for that sensitivity in a way that's actually really inspiring and really positive, and to be able to be tender and still know that we're protected, in this work that we do and in this life that we're, choosing to live. And also that we have more choice. When we explore these topics, it gives us more and more access to our choice, which many of you know gives so much healing to the trauma that we've inherited, to really learn that success isn't something that we've ever seen before, but that it's something, within us that only you know what it is. And that's part of what I think any of these topics, when we distill it down and we take any of the issues or blocks around sex, death, money, or sex, grief, and money, and the tenderness around these things, we really find, our core desires and self underneath it. These are topics that we oftentimes can't deny who we are for too long, inside of, or if we do, we really suffer. And I'm here to relieve suffering, for myself and for the people around me and for the people that I get to work with, so then they could support others in relieving their own suffering as well. So the main thing that I've really seen, in myself, and then in a lot of the people and entrepreneurs and healers and artists and the humans that I connect with that really care, the main thing I really see them struggle with in terms of building their business is, the ability to really listen to what their soul is like leading them to share, as opposed to coming up with some idea like from our mind or from a need for money, or something else that is understandable but doesn't always work out. And really also having the support to follow through and to not quit before they get to the end. So these two things that I've seen that I think are really important when we're talking about anything that's soul led, whether we're talking about soul led relationship and intimacy, or a business that's really driven by soul and by, a person's connection to source, and the willingness to give themselves over to that, to be of service to that. There's a lot in the way that I've learned about and experienced and also figured out. Now we have an amazing team of people that support, and there's so much that I've learned along the way that I know when I share it with others, it really just like accelerates their own ability to hear those voices, but also then follow the guidance of those inner voices, because that's a piece that gets really lost on us when we don't have the right support to help us do that, in terms of growing our business, in terms of deepening our relationships to ourselves and to others. I'm really excited about this Make the Shift program, and I hope you'll join us if you feel the call, if you feel inspired, and we're totally here for you. So just let us know.